measures 1 to 8 of Etude number 1, the lyrical etude for trombone and euphonium, okay? First thing I would like you to do is make sure you have the music up. Make sure that you are in a place where you are able to have your instrument out and practicing right now. We're going to start in the very beginning with looking at our key signature. So first of all, we're in the key of concert F, okay? We have only one flat, B flat. And what I would like you to do is I want you to kind of go through the beginning of this real quickly, measure 1 through measure 4, okay? There's a pickup that also goes into measure 1, and look for any A naturals or even E naturals. And what I'd like you to do is I want you to mark a second position. I'm going to go through and scan through it with you, okay? So the very first note is an A in second, okay? All right, I'm looking through. The first real eighth note that's not tied in measure 1 is a low A, and that has a second position as well. The first note of measure 2 is an A in second. The third note is an A. Now that's tied, so you're not going to tongue those. You'll tongue that first A, but you're not going to tongue the second one because it's a tie. Both those are in second. And then the note after that breath mark, that is another A natural in second. Measure 3, I see an A natural. It's the 5th eighth note, and then an E natural as the 8th eighth note in that measure. And then all of measure 4 is in second position, okay? Second thing I want you to do is scan through with me and look through any places we're going to be slurring, okay? In measure 1, now as a trombone player, we're not always going to be slurring naturally like we do with lip slurs. So if you look at measure 1, that low A in the middle of measure 2, that D is going to be a natural slur. My slide's moving, I'm able to use my slide dart to basically do the articulation for me, but then the rest of it is going to be a tongue slur. I use a loose slur, okay? And measure 2, A to B flat is a tongue slur. That's an A natural tie, so I don't do anything there. I just articulate the first note and sustain through. That's a total of 5 beats, don't forget, or 5 eighth notes. And then I'm going to re-articulate that A. In measure 3, D to C is a tongue slur, but C to B flat is a natural slur. B flat to A is a tongue slur. A to G is a tongue slur. F to E is a tongue slur. And E to D is a tongue slur. Now in measure 4, E to A is going to be a natural slur. And then I just am going to sustain that last note, okay? Now the way I'm going to do this, I'm setting my metronome to 100. And the way I would practice it is I would go ahead and sit here and just start with that pickup and be thinking about the letter names, okay? I'm going to letter name it with you right now, okay? And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, D, F, D, F, A. Okay, and that was the pickup from the pickup into measure 1 to the first note of measure 2, okay? All right, position, 2, ready. 2, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 2. There we go. I'm going to play this time. Here's my test note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I went a little bit on, but that's okay. Just make sure if you do continue on, you just try and make sure that you follow the dynamics are written there too. Don't forget in measure 2, I'm going to get louder all the way to that breath mark, and then measure 3, I'm going to gradually get softer, okay? All right, I'm starting right on the beginning of measure 2, and I'm going to go to the first note of measure 3. Here's my letter names. A, B flat, A, breathe. A, D. Okay, position, and ready, set, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Play it. Here we go. Test note. 1, 2, 3. Ready, set. Do now is pause and try and separate those and then try and put them together on your own, okay? Go ahead and pause now if you need to, and you can pause at any point throughout this recording as well. All right, now I'm also moving on now. I'm going to do now the pickup into measure 3. But what I'm going to do, since this is just kind of a smaller segment, I'm going to go to the low A in measure 4, okay? Here's my position. So I'm going on the last note of measure 2 all the way to the tie in measure 4. Sorry, this is letter names. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, A, D, C, beef, beef, A, G, F, E, D, E, A. Stop, okay? Position, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 1, 3, 1, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 2, 2, 2. All right, chest note. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and just really make sure you're trying to do a natural slur or a lip slur on measure 4, okay? All right. Now what I would do if I were you, I would make absolutely sure I go back and I try and put measure 1 all the way to that tie and measure 4 together, okay? Now, the good news is the end of measure 4 into measure 5 is identical to measure 1. It's the exact same thing until we get to measure 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not do anything on that part because you've already done that, okay? But if you would, make sure you go and start marking the A naturals. There's 2 in there that pick up the end of 4, and then the third note of measure 5, okay? Now look at measure 6. I have an A natural as the first note. Those C's are in third. The rest of that is in third as well. And then if I go into 7, high F is in first, E's in second. Then I have an A natural at the end of measure 7. I have 2 of them. I have an eighth note A to a quarter note A, and then I tongue slur to that G, and then I end on that F. This recording is going to stop on that F tie, okay? So I'm starting at the beginning of measure 6. Letter names. Ready, set. A, C, C. And then I would stop there for now because I'm going to do the pickup for measure 7 like that, okay? All right, here we go. Here's position 2, ready. 2, 3, 3. And make sure you do a good crescendo there. Here we go, test note. And ready, breathe. Good, full sound there, okay? Also, I forgot to mention this, that A to C in measure 6, that is a natural slur. So you're going to let the slide articulate for you. You're not going to have to tongue that C. But then you need to re-articulate the next C, that dotted quarter note. You don't articulate the tie because the tie sustains the sound. And then you're going to re-articulate that C at the very end after the breath mark, okay? I'm now starting on the C after that breath mark. I'm using it as a pickup, and I'm going to do this as a little chunk. I'm going to do the pickup from the end of 6 into 7, and then I'm going to go all the way to the tied F in 8, okay? All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. C, F, E, D, C, beef, A, G, F. Pause, okay? Here's position, and 1, 2, 3, breathe. C, F, E, D, C, beef, A, G, F. And I realized I accidentally said the position or the letter names again. Let's position it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 4, 1. All right, here's our test note. Ready, set. Now, make sure on measure 7, starting on that high F, it's going to be, I tongue the high F, I do a tongue slur to E, natural slur though from E to D, tongue slur from D to C, unless, now there's 2 ways to do that. I can either do E to D in fourth, that'll be a tongue slur, or I'm going to do E to D in first. If I do E to D in first, that is a natural slur, but then I will have to tongue slur from D to C. And then the vice versa. If I do E to D in fourth, then I can do a natural slur from that D to C. I personally would like you to do, I'm going to try and teach my kids to do E to D natural in first because I like it. It's a cleaner slur in my opinion. If your director wants you to do from E to D in fourth, that's fine. So you get some fourth position work, or you could learn it both ways. That's up to you, okay? I'm now on that C. C to B flat is going to be a natural slur. B flat to A is going to be a tongue slur. And then A to G right after that is going to be a tongue slur as well, okay? All right. Thank you for listening in. Now your job is to make sure you start piecing it together. And in one of my later videos, I'm going to play the whole thing for you, okay?